settled over me like a suffocating blanket. Suddenly, a sound broke the silence, a soft whimpering coming from somewhere up ahead. My heart pounded in my chest as I followed the sound, my footsteps echoing in the empty space. And then, as I rounded a corner, I saw her, a young girl, her pale face streaked with tears, standing at the end of the hallway. "Please," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the pounding of my heart. "Help me." But before I could reach her, she vanished into thin air, leaving behind nothing but the chilling echo of her plea. I continued to explore the abandoned ward, each room revealing more horrors than the last. Unexplained noises echoed through the halls, and the feeling of being watched never left me, even in the empty darkness. As I reached the furthest corner of the ward, I stumbled upon a room that seemed untouched by time. The walls were adorned with faded photographs of patients long gone, their eyes seeming to follow my every move. And in the center of the room stood a solitary figure, a nurse, her uniform tattered and stained, her eyes empty and lifeless. With a gasp, I stumbled backwards, the weight of the hospital's dark history pressing down on me like a physical force. And then, as if in response to my fear, the walls began to close in, trapping me in the suffocating darkness. Second story, the experiment gone wrong. Dr. Henry West was renowned for his groundbreaking research in the field of experimental medicine. But when I arrived at his laboratory in the dead of night, I quickly realized that his latest experiment had taken a horrifying turn. The air was thick with the stench of chemicals as I made my way through the maze of corridors, the flickering lights casting eerie shadows on the walls. In the distance, I could hear the sound of lab equipment humming ominously, like the beating heart of some monstrous creature. As I entered the main chamber, I was met with a scene of unimaginable horror. Dr. West stood over a slab, his face obscured by the glow of his computer screen. On the table lay a twisted mass of flesh and wires, a grotesque amalgamation of man and machine. "What have you done?" I whispered, my voice barely audible over the hum of the machinery. But Dr. West only smiled, his eyes gleaming with madness. "I've created something beautiful," he said, his voice dripping with malice. "Something beyond your wildest nightmares." And then, with a flick of a switch, the creature on the table lurched to life, its eyes glowing with a malevolent light as it turned its gaze towards me. I fled from the laboratory, the sound of its mechanical footsteps echoing in my ears long after I had left the building. Third story, the haunted operating room. The operating room was supposed to be empty, the patients long gone, and the surgeons retired for the night. But as I stepped through the doors, I knew that I was not alone. The air was thick with the scent of antiseptic as I made my way towards the center of the room. The cold steel of the operating table looming before me like a silent sentinel. And then, as I reached out to touch it, a voice spoke from the darkness. "Welcome," it whispered, its words echoing through the empty space. "We've been expecting you." I froze in terror as the lights flickered and died, plunging the room into darkness. And then, as if by some unseen force, the operating table began to move, its metal surface contorting and shifting beneath my trembling fingers. With a surge of adrenaline, I turned to flee, but the doors were sealed shut, trapping me in the darkness with whatever unseen horror lurked within. And then, from the shadows, emerged a figure, a surgeon, his face hidden beneath a blood-stained mask, his hands dripping with gore. "Time for your procedure," he said, his voice like ice as he advanced towards me with scalpel in hand. And as his blade descended, I knew that I was doomed to become just another victim of the haunted operating room. The echoes of my screams reverberated through the empty halls, a chilling reminder of the horrors that lurked within the hospital's walls. Thank you for joining me on this bone-chilling journey into the dark heart of hospital horror. If you found yourself on the edge of your seat, craving more spine-tingling tales, be sure to hit that follow button and stay tuned for future uploads. Your support means everything, and there are plenty more nightmares waiting to be unleashed. Until next time, stay safe, if you can.